like what, and I'm not saying Destiny's a pedophile, but he definitely abuses women. Like
I see
they
that's something I want to talk about. That
All right, I'll
okay,
get it.
so here's what I'll say about Destiny. One thing that I think is like a really ugly characteristic about him is he's like a total fucking pussy hound. I mean, this guy is in my opinion, I think Destiny is like completely addicted to sex and it's causing him all these problems in his life. And it seems to me all the women that he's having sex with are like fucking e-girl, like Twitch streamer type people. So they're all like kind of girls that are almost like below him in the pecking order of how things
It's
work.
abuse of power. It's abuse of power, but I don't like analyzing him because he is so like so much of a vagina dryer as a human being. But he he's pretty disgusting to even analyze. He wanted me to analyze him on live air and was asking me at one stage to diagnose him.
You mentioned Mr. Girl earlier. I know you don't know a lot
Yes.
about him, but are you aware he's actually conducting an investigation on Destiny?
I am aware of that, yes.
Okay, I want to
Okay.
talk about that. Can we talk about that for a little while?
Sure, sure.
Okay, so how did that all come to be?
I have to hang on, accessing memory banks. I was fucking with Doobie, the owner of the politics
Hate
server,
him.
where a lot of there's just like unregulated racism, transphobia, and hatred
Oh
of
yeah,
women
Hashish.
within his
Hashish
server.
hangs out there. We know all about politics.
Why does hashish hang out there? And I was just sort of like, what? I wasn't in there to pedophile hunt, but some black kids found me somehow. And I think that I was a little bit of like a white girl chess piece for these black kids. And I do tip my hat to them for what they did. Because they approached me and they were like, we know who the pedophiles are in Discord and in politics. And I was like, well, I'm off duty. I just want to play some video games right now and lightly troll
Off
within
duty.
politics. And and it was very weird. Like there was this one 17-year-old African American girl, and I feel like she kind of like I don't know, like sort of looked up to me or was like, oh my God, I found like the one white girl on Discord that isn't a racist Karen kind of vibe I was getting from her. And and she just adored me. And she'd be like, Nina, come in this channel with me. Come do this, come do that. And I'd be like, Okay. And my friends and I would just be like, what is happening? Like, why does this girl want to hang out with me all the time? And and they'd be like, just roll with it. Let's see what we can find out. And so she was clearly in a lot of trauma, as are a lot of ethnic minority girls within Discord.
Wait,
Not that
what
I
does this
could.
have to do with the Mr. Girl? This is like
So this is how it all started with like her taking me into channels with Doobie's moderators that she was like, these guys are pedos. And I would go into the fucking
huh.
channel. I wouldn't even do anything. I'd just
Wait,
go
let me
into
can
the
I just
channel.
get this thought out here really quick because Doobie was very public about like, oh, I didn't like help Mr. Girl at all with his investigation or whatever. But it sounds to me, even if he wasn't
Yeah.
helping, he
He
still
was.
created all the
Right.
channels that you
Doobie
were
is an
able to find
interesting
Mr. Girl.
character. Doobie was an interesting character. He was sending me names of known pedophiles within his server.
What?
And the
Why
only
wasn't
reason
he
I'm
banning them? What the fuck?
because he doesn't want to. I think okay. So two of his
Dude,
server.
that's fucking
I,
crazy.
I know it gets weirder. Two of his server
Oh
co-owners
my.
are far right fundamentalist Christian males in their 20s. I think that
That's
Doobie
not as
has
crazy.
probably yeah, but like we find that a lot of these fundamentalist Christian far right white boys are some of the worst fucking offenders in
So
Discord.
you're telling me that Doobie is he is allowing confirmed pedophiles to be in his Discord?
I the way I see it, from what I've when I've studied
Damn.
pedophile groups in the past, there could be somebody who has engaged in illegal acts with underage girls, and then they go through like a redemption arc where they're like, I've fucked up really bad, and what I've created is fucking evil, and I want to stop it. And I can't say like for sure that's what Doobie's going through, but I suspect it. And then enter stage left, a pedophile hunter comes into his server and I'm not afraid to put myself in danger, and I'm not afraid to expose things. So he starts like DMing me names of guys, like, or he theoretically he could be just as bad as the rest of them, and he's just like throwing targets at me, like go after them instead, please go after them, go after them.
Don't look at me. Yeah, go after them.
Don't look at me. But
So you're saying
his behavior just doesn't logically check out, because then I say to him, "Well, you see how much abuse I'm getting, because I didn't even come in there advertising that I was a pedo hunter. It was these black kids that went around telling everyone."
What the
Because they were like,
Yo, this bitch a pedo hunter.
We've got a pedo hunter now. She's our friend." Probably because the black kids are so fucking abused within his server that they wanted to be like, "We've got a tiger now on our side. On our side."
Luke, for the last 2 weeks, has pretended to be a black guy. Luke, could you maybe do an impression of a black teenager telling a bunch of people in a Discord that there's pedophile hunters around? Is Luke here?
Hey, yo, what's good? Hey, so I heard there's a bunch of pedophiles up in this bitch and shit. So
Yeah. That was pretty much it. But the thing is, this one underage black girl, she would get on cam with me and talk to me. She was definitely being abused. Something was definitely happening to her. And something was happening to her. And she was terrified, and she was very scatterbrained, dissociated a lot of the times I spoke to her. And she wanted to bring me into certain channels with certain men, but she wouldn't tell me much. She would just say, like, "Can you come into this channel with me?" And she would bring me into channels with men who were clearly talking to underage girls and being horny. And she would just sit me there and be like, "Look at this." And
oh my God.
One of them in
what
particular,
Discord was this?
Doobies.
This was Doobie's Discord. Okay.
This doobie nigga sounds like a lot of trouble.
He's friends with Destiny as well. One of them, one thing that was particularly disturbing was that, like, this was a helper. This guy was like part of Doobie's mod team. And I just go into a channel. He's talking to the internet is just so many layers of fucked.
Well, tell me about this channel. Was it like a not safe for work 18+ channel? None of that?
No, it was a general channel. The helper's name was Tickle, and he was talking to a girl who sounded like a child.
Tickle sound like a pedophile name, know what I'm saying?
The girl was like underage sounding, but she also sounded like she was trying to like fuck with Tickle. Like she sounded like some teenage girl that was trying to like lure him into saying fucked up shit. And she was talking in a little girl voice, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so fucking horny right now.
Oh my God,
I can't deal with this. I'm so fucking horny.
Jesus
Fuck, I'm so horny." And then I was like,
ew.
I know. And I was just like, I don't really, why am I here? And then he heard my voice and saw my name, which was at the time Nina Non Grata. And that's what I was known by. And he just panics. He just fucking panics. And he lodges a false report about me attempting to dox him to the moderators, and then I'm in jail. Suddenly I'm in like...
Wait, why would he continue if somebody else came into the call?
He didn't notice me. He was like mid-sentence.
Wait, were there multiple people listening to like sexual
Yes.
shit between two people?
Yes.
No way. This is happening in the general voice chat of Doobie's Discord. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's
And so
fucking foul.
one
That's
of-
so
one
gr-
of
Even if
Doobie's
I'll tell you
mon-
this,
yeah.
I'll tell you this, Nina. Even if they were all adults, that's still fucking disgusting.
Still foul. But even though it's like, the thing is, the pedophiles have been so unregulated and so there's no consequence for them. Like, just look at my interactions with the FBI, that they're so arrogant now. They're like, I can literally just try to fuck this underage girl, this little girl. They're so arrogant. There could be an FBI agent in the channel with them at this point, and I swear they'd be like, "What the fuck are you gonna do about it? I'm a white male.
Sugar,
I'm a white male. You can't fuck with me."
Hey, Sugar, real quick. I'm seeing a bunch of messages in the chat, you know what I'm saying? You stream PUBG?
I don't stream it on Twitch, but I
They're
stream
saying
it.
you're playing with like 17-year-old boys and shit. That's kind of fucked up, you know what I'm saying?
So when you play a video game, do you
Oh,
leave
wait
the
a
video
second
game? Do you leave a video game as soon as you're in a game with a 17-year-old boy?
I
Do you
play with
go
my
into it?
homies that
Wait,
no,
wait.
no. I play with my homies that I know are adults. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a pedophile hunter. I have no friends. The fuck are you talking
If you're a
about?
pedophile hunter, what are you doing hanging out with 17-year-olds? That sounds hell groomy.
I mean, listen,
That's
if you're a
that's
pedophile
how you find
hunter,
out who the pedophiles are. How else do you find out
exactly.
who the pedophiles are? What are you talking about?
If you want to
The
find the
the,
pedophiles, you
the
gotta fuck the kids.
17-year-old
You
the
know what I'm saying?
17-year-old boys the 17-year-old boys, they want to fuck 17-year-old girls. They don't want 17-year-old girls being groomed by 26-year-old men. 17-year-old boys are one of the best sources that I have
Maybe
because
they're trying to fuck
they're like
22-year-old PUBG players.
we're getting cucked by like 26-year-old pedos. So let's tell Nina
Is
who
that
all
like
the pedos are.
is that the golden age of pedophile 26?
Like most of the guys that I know that groom underage girls, they span between like 20 all the way up to like 35,
Well,
40.
that makes sense for Discord, because if you're looking for like pedophiles and you're on Discord, they're probably going to be a little bit younger than in other places.
So she baiting little niggas, like trying to find the pedophiles, right?
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. How do you? Yeah. How does
That's
that
how
whole
hell
process
fucked up.
work?
Like you just dangle them in front of the pedophile's face, like, "Hey, come fuck this kid."
No. God,
sounds
that's
fucked up.
unethical. That's
That sounds
unethical.
fucked up.
But you're living in a fantasy world where you're creating your own reality, and it's quite amusing for me to watch.
No, I'm just asking questions. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, there's this guy Bunk. I was talking to him yesterday. He would be great bait. Or do you ever like need people for bait?
Always. Send
Okay.
me bait.
I'll send you Bunk. He'll be great bait for you.
There's one actual 17-year-old that I adore. He's a really wholesome Christian young man. And he was part of the Kiwi Farms controversy. I don't know how involved he was with Kiwi Farms, but I do know he's a
Yo.
controversial figure. He gets Discord accounts frequently banned, and he had something to do with that Canadian artist chick who brought down Kiwi Farms. I think he might have been helping her. He's quite cryptic with me about his involvement with that. But he's like, it's so interesting how people are evolving in Discord. But because he's a Christian who previously was, I guess, Republican.
You know, I'm noticing something
now
with you.
he's like-
with you, I got to kind of keep the guardrails up, because I'm just remembering now we never got to the Mr. Girl stuff. We never got to any of that. We're getting so out to lunch here.
Okay, yes. So Mr. Girl,
How did
Doobie,
you? So I
Doobie,
want to know
think
about this
Doobie set it up.
investigation.
I think Doobie set it up. I think Doobie's a very Machiavellian figure.
Oh, I
who,
believe, dude.
on
I think
one hand,
Doobie's little finger.
Hey.
He's a little finger. He's
Hold on,
little
hold on,
finger.
hold on, hold on,
He
hold on,
is.
hold on,
He
hold on,
is.
hold
That
on,
is such a
hold on,
good
hold on,
analysis of him.
Hold up. You said Machiavellian like 8 times now, and
Okay, Luke, I have to. I'm sorry, Luke. You are
for all the
derailing.
listeners-
You are derailing when CG
all the
has already
listeners,
said
just-
he wants to focus on
all
Mr.
the
Girl and
listeners,
Doobie.
just
So I
to-
do have to just put you on personal mute.
all
if
I'm
you keep
asking
doing
you
your
is
Here,
to
no, no,
define the
no.
word Machiavellian.
Here, don't do personal
you're
mute.
right
I'll do,
about
I'll,
that.
Hold on. I'll
You're
do
right
server.
about that.
I'll do server mute for a second, and then I'll unmute him. So just don't personal mute. It's just too complicated.
Okay, you're right. Yes, he does tend to little finger his way through things. So he is, I'm not going to lie, he is an interesting figure. I'd love to know what his motivation is more, but I do think he's banned me twice from
So
politics.
you think that he
I
set
think
you up
he-
with Mr. Girl?
I think he did. And I think he also I think he publicly throws me under the bus and bans me from politics because he wants to create a false sense of security among him and the moderators. I think I'm a little bit of a chess piece for him, or I'm like I'm like a red
I'm
herring.
so fucking glad you started talking about Doobie, because I've been keeping my eye on this Doobie guy for like anybody that's been around me for the last 6 months. Doobie has popped up a couple times, and I have not trusted this guy. So this is kind of full circle for me.
So Doobie, I believe the likes of Doobie and these far right Christian like freak shows that run politics, they're just a new evolution of that ideology from 4chan. In fact, I've been told that Doobie hangs out on 4chan.
Okay.
And so does, and Destiny probably does too.
So I want to know, like, what was it like when you're actually in contact with Mr. Girl? Like, what is this whole fucking investigation thing that he's doing?
He's very careful. Whatever he's doing, he's very careful. It's very one-sided. He asks me for information and I send it to him, but he doesn't give anything to me. But also,
Interesting.
I don't really need anything because I have all of this data. I publicly post FBI reports all over the place. My friends, or whatever you want to call them, they go and disseminate my FBI reports among massive public servers. So, like, I don't really care that he's using me or he's trying to get data out of me or whatever is going on inside of his head. I don't know what he's up to, but he does also keep his distance from me. So he'll DM with me, but he won't go into a call with me. I don't know. Maybe Mr. Girl is actually just friends with Destiny and it's all a big LARP and it's a way to try and trap me.
I don't think Destiny's smart enough to do like a fun show thing like that. I think he's like too autistically face up about all his dumbass bullshit that it seems like it's pretty legit.
And he's too narcissistic as well. Like, he's too narcissistic and arrogant to think, wow, I have to actually start being careful because I could end up in prison. And that's what will be his downfall. His narcissism will be his.
Well,
it already has been.
Can we just like take a minute to appreciate how funny it is that Mr. Girl has messaged every person Destiny has ever had sex with to ask if he abused them? That's something you would do.
Yeah, I've done that with pedophiles in the past.
Yeah,
he's basically
cool.
Mr. Girl's just. I honestly think Mr. Girl's just copying. He's just copying my meta.
He's
right
copying
now.
you. He's like doing the same shit as you. I would feel like he's stepping on your shit.
I should sue him. Actually, I should sue Mr. Girl for copying my meta.
Hey, what do you think about that Mr. Girl dude doing the "I'm a pedophile" song though? You don't think there's nothing to that?
Oh yeah, you don't even know about any of his pedophile stuff.
I've analyzed his video where he's shitting on. Well, he's not shitting on. He's kind of praising Cuties.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
Cuties is a film made by a woman that I think was satirical. And I believe the artist's intention is to, in a very like inflammatory way, put sexualization of little girls right in the faces of the audience.
Okay, I love how you're in the middle of the pedophile hunter pro cuties Venn diagram. It's actually this is like an amazing
pro cuties. I don't think if I was an artist, I wouldn't do it the way she did it.
By using kids, by using actual children.
It's like you try to be the hero long enough and you see yourself become the villain kind of shit. Like that's sort of the space
that's what people know Mr. Girl for. He's the cuties guy.
But what about that part where he was going, like I thought it was really hot when they did the close-ups on the girl.
I feel like his voice so syrupy and layered with like it was like he was LARPing as an average. When I watch it, it's like he was LARPing as an average Discord user on purpose to piss off.
Giving this nigga a lot
Mr.
of
Girl,
I don't know. It just
Discord
seems
incarnate.
weird. It
You're
seems
right.
weird. It's weird. It's like he was LARPing as an average Discord user, like in this really like smug, condescending way towards his audience. Then waits for everyone to raise false reports about him being a pedophile. Then does a song going, "I'm a pedophile." Then the police go and fuck with him, and they find nothing on him.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird, right?
You think he just got volumes of like CP and shit at his crib?
Well, what if he's such a pedophile? Why, when they sweeped his PC, when the police went and eventually fucked with him, why didn't they find anything?
Well, if he's
you
can't arrest somebody for thoughts in their head, though. That's the thing.
I guess, but the same thing has happened to me. When I go to fuck with pedophiles, even just now, we saw Luke trying to frame me as a pedophile. When you hunt pedophiles, pedophiles will try to frame you as a pedophile to protect their own institutions. So, like, perhaps the same thing that happened to me has also happened to Mr. Girl, and now he's just LARPing. He's just like, haha, yeah, like, come send the SWAT. Like, send them.
So
Like, police have literally broken down my door, and I have like photo evidence of it. And
I
it's
think
me like
Mr. Girl to me,
laughing at police.
he seems like the type of guy who gets off on hiding in plain sight. That's kind of the vibe I get from Mr. Girl.
Maybe he's one of the pedophiles that are so arrogant and narcissistic he hides in plain sight. That also could be a possibility. Again, I don't know enough about him, but I do know he avoids me.
I don't think
that is suspect.
I don't think that that's the
Yeah.
honestly the pedo shit about Mr. Girl is kind of like, you know, it kind of is what it is, and if you think he is a pedo, then whatever. I think his like weird abuse shit is so much weirder.
Them fucking Peckerwoods at Twitch, I believe that shit.
Oh my god, I would love to sweep the fucking PCs of the Twitch board of directors.
Hell
That would be fun.
Okay.
Okay, I shouldn't say that because that's going to be taken out of context.
They are.
Do we have anything else to add about Mr. Girl and the whole reaching? What did you tell him? Like when he reached out, what did you tell him?
I told him
about
everything.
Destiny?
All I know is
this.
I told him everything, and he said that he's going to include. He's potentially
what is everything?
Going to include me.
Like what is? Just give us an idea of what you said.
So 2 weeks after I was on Destiny, I was stalked by his followers. I was then sexually assaulted at an Arab bed and breakfast by guys who called me. Guys, they swung a sledgehammer at my head and intimidated me until I agreed to allow one of them to digitally penetrate me.
What the fuck?
Because I was afraid. I was afraid for my life.
This is what Destiny's community is doing. They're fucking digitally penetrating you.
God damn.
I prefer digitally rape because if you have a sledgehammer, if you have one fucking like Tate supporter swinging a sledgehammer at you to threaten your life, and then the actual sexual abuser comes to you and says, "Hey, I'll make sure he doesn't hurt you if you just come into my room and watch a movie with me."
So all these things are related to the Destiny video that came out, the sledgehammer.
They all travel in the intersection of right after I was on Destiny. Then the IP address tracing started. Then the in real life stalking began.
Let's hear about. I want to hear about this. So you were stalked after you appeared on Destiny?
So it wasn't just internet stalking; it bled out into IRL.
Oh my god!
Yeah, there was so much going on around this time. It was like a blur. I was on Destiny. I was public about wanting to expose the pedophile and abusive women and girl culture within Discord. And then suddenly, like, not only American men in Discord are like stalking me, but like men in Romania,
a lot of Romanian men like Destiny.
Yeah, I can imagine. And also, then weird Australian dudes started to try and befriend me. An Italian pimp tried to recruit me into prostitution. Two Australian Italian pimps tried to recruit me into prostitution, and failed. What else? There was a man. I went for a jog one day in it sounds kind of weird, but there's a cemetery near my house, and during the day, everybody walks their dogs through this beautiful cemetery. And so it was like fucking 1 o'clock in the afternoon, bright as fuck. I'm like, go for a walk through the cemetery. And so I was on the phone to my boyfriend at the time, who was they're actually trans now that I look back. They were,
of course. Did they know about the pedophile hunting?
He adored me. He thought I was the coolest thing.
He liked your work?
He thought I was the coolest thing that had ever hit the internet.